Glory is mine.
Try again. like I knew it would. A single drop of source magic. And, like flies to honey, the monsters swarmed. The rabble panicked. The carnage began. And the magisters pointed their fingers at me. Just as I'd planned. I was shackled and collared and sent to Fort Joy. I'd come here to kill Godwoken. But instead I became part of their story.
The things I do to complete a contract.
Oh, everything's spick and span. Nothing left to do, really.
Nice haircut, Smiley. Being leashed by the Order once was quite enough.
It seems as though there's a pattern of blood flow. That can't be natural.
Being leashed by the Order once was quite enough.
Ah, you're up. Yes. Looks like that collar fits you snugly enough. Nice bit of work, even if I do say so myself. Was he all ready? There. Not too tight, I hope. The collar, I mean. Oh, not to worry. Every dog has... In the meantime, your next stop will be Magister William. All passengers have to be registered. You'll find him on the other side of this deck, in the officers' quarters. The good ship Merryweather. But you can stand at ease there, Private. You do realize you're not in any army here, don't you?
Index fingers pressed to her lips, she pauses a moment to give you a scrutinizing gander.
My word, you do seem a bit befuddled, don't you? Perhaps I was a bit too generous with that sedative. Oh well, I'm sure you'll soon gather your wits. Most likely. Eventually. In the meantime, all you need to know is that we're en route to Fort. A new life awaits. And if you're a particularly good boy, perhaps a cure as well. An end to Source. Why, for my peace of mind, of course. Why don't you try casting one of those Source spells of yours? See what happens. Oh, do go on. I won't hold it against you. Promise. My, aren't we a meek little lamb? Perhaps I needn't have collared you at all, though it does look... So let's just leave it on, shall we? Because, to answer your question, what the collar does is this. It makes you unable to... For your own peace of mind, of course. Yours and the...
No marks, no indications of a struggle.
Bloody murder. Looks like someone's hit the Hall of Echoes a little early.
Behind the Magister, a bloodied mass lies in a heap. Gore and limbs lie at odd angles. You can't make out a face amid the mess.
There's been a murder. A sorcerer was killed by one of your own. Lucky you were busy getting your collar fitted at the time, or you'd be a suspect like the rest of them. Waters is investigating. She'll figure out who did it. Always does. Aren't you enterprising? I'll let Waters tell you now. Go ahead. She with the body.
A young Magister stands pale and...
Seems as though there's a pattern to the blood flow. That can't be natural. Ugly sight, isn't it? Burns me up this happened under our protection. We're extremely lucky no Voidwalker followed the source that did this.
She looks up at you with a mirthless smile.
I was on duty in your room when the murder happened. You were asleep. You're one of the only indisputably innocent people on the ship. Unless you can commit murder in your sleep, of course. Finn was killed by Source. If a Magister could do that, there wouldn't be a Magister. It looks more like a passenger managed to slip their collar. And the rest. Listen, I could use someone to keep their ears open among... Bring me a good lead, and I'll throw in a shiny gold coin for you. How about that? Thanks. I just...
Healing!
Ah, you're up there. Not too tough. In the meantime, you'll find him on the other side of this deck, in the officers' quarters. Dungeon? You have the gall to call my laboratory a dungeon?
Index fingers pressed to her lips.
My word, you do seem a bit befuddled. Oh well, I'm sure you'll soon gather your wits. A new life awaits. And if you're a particularly... Why, for my peace of mind, of course. Why don't you try casting...
Currents of magic surge inside you, boiling, bursting, then breaking, only to fade back into your soul like rain into the earth.
My, look at the concentration on your... There you have it, see? The collar's function. It's neutered for your own peace of mind, of course. Your...
No lesions, no trauma. He was bled by magic.
Blooded.
Behind the Magister, a blooded mass lies in...
There's been a murder. Waters is investigating. She'll figure out. Aren't you enterprising? Go ahead. She...
Ugly sight, is Burns. Finn didn't see it like... We'll find out who did this.
She looks up at you.
I was on duty. You're one of the only indisputably innocent people on the ship. Finn was... It looks more... Listen, bring me a good lead, and I'll... Thanks. But who? Yes, this is a rare kind of magic. I'll need to write to headquarters right away.
Sing us a song, I know you can.
One of us will kill our own. They're picking us off one by one.
Surely.
You look like my daddy. His name is Frida. He's waiting for me at home.
Tell you if you quiet long enough for
Ah, there you are. Husband. Would you please tell this very charming gaggle of not at all brat-like babes that I am by no accounts this loser woman, nor do I sing, in fact. I'm deathly, deathly allergical. How very correct you are, spouse of mine. Madame Josephine Gribbles de Peeb refuses to be confused with any— What? What's so funny?
Her pinched face cracks into a great grin, and she shoos the children.
Yeah, okay, you found me out. Go on and get, and maybe I'll sing you something.
She turns to you, dark-eyed and dirty-haired, and smiles.
Gotta keep ourselves entertained, haven't we? You presume right. Nope, trying not to find anything out either. Ignorance is bliss. The utterer, the better. Thanks, but I already belong to an elite and exclusive ship gang. We play ball every day after lunch. You're too soft for it. You take care, though.
Suddenly, her eyes cloud to an unnatural black. Greyish veins run as quickly as they came. The clouds clear.
Good luck, Chief.
Nice haircut, Smiley.
No known associates.
One of them.
In fact,
Hey!
one of those to spend time.
Would you put a knuckle in it? I'm trying to concentrate.
They don't care about us. We're like cattle to them.
I'll give you that knuckle if you keep carrying on.
One of us would kill our own. They're picking us off one by one.
Can we just skip to the part where I reassure you and you shut up?
You think me mad?
Mad? No. Insufferable? Surely.
What are you trying to hear anyway?
I'll tell you if you can keep it quiet long enough for me to listen.
Please, please, please.
Well, you aren't here on my list. Scrammy, we're trying to...
It was one of them. I know it.
You put a knuckle in it. I'm trying to...
An elf sits tucked away in a dark spot, lazily rolling dice onto the surface of a barrel. They sound like the dry cackling of an old witch.
Snake eyes.
One of us wouldn't kill our own.
She chuckles.
I bet that's just what they'll look like.
Skip to the part where I reassure you and you shut up.
She shakes her head.
Game for one, I'm afraid. Rolling dice, deciding fates.
Insufferable, surely.
Don't worry, honey.
She looks you up and down with the merest hint of a coy smile on her lips.
Never say never, though.
Listen.
She smiles contemptuously.
Just a kitten in a corner.
There's a killer about, after all.
The Magister starts, recognition growing on his cheek.
You look just...
The Magister's face turns white. He makes a move to step...
It is you. Ifan Ben Mesd. I remember you. You were my captain's commander way back in the war.
They don't care about us. We're like cattle to them.
I'll give you that knuckle if you keep carrying
The Magister's eyes darken. His face closes over into a cold mark.
I always knew you'd end up down low. Lower even than us nobodies in the rank and file. The higher the climb in Fort Joy, you're about to fall further than you thought possible. Happy landings.
Insufferable, surely.
What are you trying to hear anyway?
I'll tell you if you can keep it quiet long enough for me to listen.
A broad dwarf sits totally upright on the bench, eyes closed, palms face up on his knees. His beard is a cascade of meticulous plaits, each one braided through with golden medallions. He raises an eyebrow as you approach, but doesn't open his eyes.
Listen up, boy. You hear that?
I've seen more appetizing things coming out of plague-stricken pigs.
The ship, of course.
A wave of sound washes over you. The unintelligible chatter of your shipmates, the groaning of wood from floor to ceiling, the boom, crash and crack.
And?
And I don't intend to do away with the custom.
There has been a murder, Your Majesty.
Sick as a leper's cat. From the state of it, I'd say she's being cared for by a bunch of beardless babes who never loved anyone but their own. But there's more. Listen close. There now, just like that. Aha!
His eyes snap open as his countenance breaks into an expression of joy. One great paw claps you on the back, the other catches you before you lose your footing.
There. You heard it, didn't you? I knew it. I knew it. Aye, this is good news, boy. Good news. It's the wheel. The wheel. Don't you see, you beautiful idiot? Squeaks whenever the helmsman jerks it clockwise, which means we burn my beard. That means if we've been travelling for, yes, only 10.34 nautical miles to Fort Joy.
Plague-stricken pigs.
No indeed, boy. But that...
The dwarf leans back from the table and strokes his beard, gold medallions jingling merrily. His
That'll be all. Thank you kindly, boy.
And I don't intend to do away with the custom.
Well, there has been a murder, Your Majesty. Maybe that has the Magister's more concerned than your appetite.
You one of them? A divine order loyal? They killed a sorcerer, you know. They'll hide the evidence well enough, but make no mistake.
Sing us a song. I know you can.
Be good, you scallywags.
It was one of them. I know it.
Would you put a knuckle in it? I'm trying to concentrate.
They don't care about us. We're like cattle to them.
I'll give you that knuckle if you keep carrying on.
One of us wouldn't kill our own. They're picking us off one by one.
Can we just skip to the part where I reassure you and
Well,
you shut
well,
up?
what have we here? A fresh face in this stale hell.
The lizard looks you up and down, like a farmer would a fetching horse. All of a sudden, he grips you firmly by the chin, with the intent of inspecting your teeth.
My, we are fierce, aren't we? Not to what now then, to business. You will answer me 3 questions. The first one is this. Can you cook?
It was one of them. I know it.
You put a knuckle in it. I'm trying to...
Ah, music to my beleaguered stomach.
They don't care about us.
On to the second question. Can you knit, weave? In short, tailor?
One of us will kill our own. They're picking us off one by one.
Can we just skip to the part where I reassure you and you shut up?
Oh, but to feel the caress of satin on my scarlet skin. On then to my final query. Have you the ability to administer the upkeep of one's personal appearance? The delicate art of cosmetics is what I'm after. The very basics, then. I suppose that's a start. So, 3 questions asked, 3 questions answered. As per your own testimony, you can cook, tailor, and groom. I offer you my sincerest congratulations. As of now, you are my slave.
They don't care about us. We're like cattle to them.
You should probably come to terms with the fact that you've half a mind, full stop. Rein in your impertinence, will you? Anyway, you may leave me for a moment. We'll go over your duties once we reach Fort Joy.
I reassure you and you shut up.
You think me mad?
I spent my life singing for my slaves to bring me my supper. Finer fare. Meanwhile, the Magisters feast on honeyed meat.
If you can keep it quiet long enough for me to listen.
Boring. Under lock and key.
The elf is reading a volume of Cranley Hubert's famous encyclopedia. He looks up, his big round eyes scanning you. He reaches out and takes your hand, turning it this way and that, examining it from every angle. Finally, he pinches your skin, gently.
Fascinating.
He sits back and returns to his book, flicking quickly from page to page, completely oblivious to your presence.
Oh no, my instinct to survive is quite strong, as with all mortals. Oh dear, I seem to have crossed some... You have my apologies. Perhaps I should demand the same from those red-cloaked humans. They laid their hands on me more than once. Perhaps. Perhaps not. Take this book, for example. I understand it is simultaneously too detailed and insufficient. I know the beginning of this tale, and tell me, what do you know of our world's history?
One of us will kill our own. They're picking us off one by one.
Can we just skip to the part where I reassure you and you shut up?
You think me mad?
Mad? Insufferable, surely.
What are you trying to hear anyway?
I'll tell you if you can keep it quiet long enough for me to listen.
Oh, please. I have no interest in that. No. I want to know about the Celestial. This text tells me that they created all creatures. Where did these gods come from? Who are their people? Where are the others of their kind?
The elf's face freezes for just a second before he waves his hand dismissively.
Oh, it's just one of my idle curiosities. We mortals do like to get... Now please, run along. I have a world to decipher.
No amount of pestering will get the elf to take his eyes off his book or respond.
But I reassure you and you shut up.
It's a register, sir. Good, good. Magister Williams is just about done with the last buffet and okay so far.
He tugs the collar of his uniform and chuckles.
Sorry you're upset, sir, but we all wear what we wear for a reason. You head on in now. Williams will get you sorted fast.
I'm trying to concentrate. Keep those bolts trained on her. And if she tries to run, shoot to kill.
You seem on edge, officer.
Standing at the center of the room, you spot a sorcerer haughtily eyeing a pair of nervous-looking magisters. They keep their crossbow trained upon her as she's being interrogated by an officer.
So you admit it then? You murdered that poor fella?
Yes, I did. But of course, that was only the beginning.
She turns her head and looks you straight in...
There are others whose lives must end.
Good God! Don't want you there, sorcerer! Go and fetch Magister Siwan! We need to do more than collar this maniac. We need to shackle her, hands and feet.
It means your journey draws to a close. Do stick around for its finale, though, because...
She reaches for her collar and simply removes it.
I'm just about to create a scene.
Subdue her, men, quickly! If she casts source, the Voidwoken will come. They'll end us all.
She smiles with wicked satisfaction.
Precisely.
What's happened?
What happened? Must have been the turnips. Water? Wine, for goodness sake! Oh.
The lizard's eyes close as he slips into You shake the lizard by the shoulder. The dwarf lies in a heap on the floor, his great beard twisted and tangled around him. You hear a faint thud, thud, thud. He's alive. The young woman lies in a heap on the floor. She's breathing normally, but her eyes are wide. The Magister lies on the floor, unconscious and bleeding from a...
I'll need to find another way. into splinters. Oh, damn. That doesn't bode well. Onwards and upwards. God damn it. Need to get off this wreck. Quick.
Something's pounding on the hull!
By the fine grace, what was... He eyes the collar circling your neck and reaches a hand...
Another sorcerer!
The Magister's companion doesn't blink, frozen in place at the sight of
you. Even if I knew how to rip that thing off, I wouldn't. Some crazy banshee comes screaming through, and now we got void bugs swarming up top. Sorcerer mutiny!
He whispers loudly to the other Magister.
Don't just cower there, Rix. Take out your blade.
Rix grabs his sword, which shakes in the rhythm of his trembling hand. The Magisters look to each other, then back to you, and
your lies end here.
Damn. That doesn't bode well. Onwards and upwards. Gods damn it. Need to get off this wreck. Quick.
Something's pounding on the hull!
Alexander. Just in case we forget who holds us captive.
Thank the gods!
He eyes the collar's...
Another source!
The Magister's companion doesn't blink, frozen in place.
Like you don't know? Mutiny! Did that witch fix your collar too?
He whispers loudly to the other Magister.
Don't just cower there, Rix. Take it.
Rix grabs his sword, which shakes in the rhythm of his trembling hand. The Magisters look to each other, then back...
Your lies end...
was painted recently, judging from its pungent scent. You recognize the symbol immediately for what it is. A warning of death. You press your palm against the door to open it. The wood feels neither cold nor warm, but simply grey. The colour drains from your hand, and you are left. It doesn't budge. The door groans open, but an ashen shadow clouds your... through the door and are suddenly face to face with an undead. His skull is bizarrely angular, and a glorious jewels. The skeleton is quickly leafing through a volume of Cranley Hubert's famous encyclopedia, muttering to himself.
No. What damn fools record? It catches fire. It turns into must when wet. It cannot even resist.
The skeleton looks up and notices...
Oh, it's you. Shouldn't you be running and screaming or some such?
The skeleton groans and looks back to his book, frantically...
Yes, indeed. It's the look of someone that wants to read the blood. Now, if you're really quite finished, I believe you have lifeboats to flee to. Please, I was no more an elf than you are those rags you're wearing. I had a mask, rather ingeniously designed, which allowed me to take that primitive form. A mask that was stolen by that damned witch. Still, she'll drown with the rest of these fools, and I will simply pluck my mask from her cold, dead hands.
The skeleton holds up his book in one quick, frustrated movement.
I am trying to discover if there is anyone worth, and I will be damned if I let the lives of some mayflies get in my way. Go on, go, swim or drown or do whatever takes you.
still a chance.
Children and dwarfs first, just like the old stories say.
The dwarf yanks at one of the nearby ropes to no avail.
You said there were other people down there. We need to help them.
You see those tentacles, kid? It's time for getting the hell out of here.
There's a ladder right over there. You can go straight.
You're gonna be the death of us, you hear? Had you open your big mouth, didn't you?
The Magister lies on the floor. Magister lies on the floor, unconscious and bleeding from a dire-looking wound.
If you can walk, get yourself up on that. There's a... Wait! Void Woken!
I thought Void Woken was supposed to be scary.
About to triumph. Glory is mine.
Let the games begin.
These beardless bugs won't sink the ship on my watch.
Let's not tarry. This old tub is about to burst.
I hear something.
She tries to speak, but can only gape as she clutches her neck, trying to stem the bleeding of a gushing wound. With jagged movements, she raises her clenched fist and holds out a length of cloth, soaked with some kind of strong-smelling tincture. Blood quickly soaks through the cloth. Magister Siwan's mouth opens and closes, her eyes wide in terror. It's working. The pressure is stemming the flow of blood. Siwan clutches your arm, her eyes locked. Something within the ship snaps. The floorboards shudder. Siwan struggles to her feet, clinging to you tightly. The ship lets out a deep groan, then...
It's ripping the ship apart. This is it. She's going down.
I have plans for you, child. Rise.
Honorable Dallas, we lost a ship sailing sorcerer prisoners to Fort Joy. We assume some escaped and broke their collars. Their vile magic lured the Voidwoken. All who were aboard are presumed dead. Yours faithfully into eternity, High Judge Oriven.
So the Order's right about one thing. We attract Voidwoken. Am I the lone survivor? Only one way to find out. Any man who put his likeness in stone is a fool in my book.
The child has a small mirror in his hands. He holds it up at angles, inspecting his eyes, his chin, the crown of his head. He spots you, and his arms snap to his sides.
I'm not supposed to talk to strangers. Are you a sorcerer? One of those guys that brings the bad void things here?
The child screws up his face and looks at you hard. He lifts his mirror up to his nose.
I don't see any source on you or me. I guess they're wrong or crazy. Maybe you're right. At least they don't mind where anyone goes. They know we can't leave the island, and it's a lot nicer out here than outside. But you didn't die. There isn't anywhere safer. That's what I mean. You'll see. I guess I am, but it's just normal to be scared. Nowhere isn't scary.
Void woken. Those are the same beasts that sank our ship. Damn, they made it to shore.
glorious bastard.
I thought these bloody collars were supposed to keep those things at bay. The face is familiar. What's left of it? He was aboard the ship. This again.
You spot a strange lizard gazing over the water with a steady, malcontent stare. Yes, you recognize him from the ship. It would seem you're not the only one who survived the tentacles of the deep. The lizard turns about with the graceful ease of a dancer, or a duelist. You lock eyes with his, two smouldering embers that sizzle your...
I did survive, yes. And chances are I wouldn't have, had you not returned to the aid of your fellow passengers. You have my gratitude.
Hand over heart, he salutes you with a bob of the head. More than a nod, though less than a bow.
Yes, I'm sure you've all the makings of a hero and all that, but let's not get carried away, shall we? Nevertheless, one good turn does deserve another, so as far as the whole slave business... Now then, if there's nothing further... If you really must know, I haven't quite decided yet. I've a frightful amount of things on my mind, hence my standing here contemplating the waves.
He sighs dramatically.
Tell me, what do you see when you cast your glance over this ocean? White, which goes for the dry parts round here too.
He looks out over the water once more, and so do you. A few tranquil moments pass.
As for myself, when I consider this vast expanse before us, I see continents dotted with mighty cities. And shimmering along the soft curve of the sea's horizon, I picture the palaces that formed my paradise. Lost. Of course, it's rather specific. Quite obviously, I'm musing over the very actual empire that I lost.
Suddenly, having all the air of being deeply offended, he stares at you with utter incredulity.
Well, don't just stand there gawking like an ape at an abacus. Or do you really mean to tell me you don't know who I am? Well, more's the damn pity, for I am the Red Prince. The all-conquer... Of course you know me.
There's a brief moment's pause, during which his...
That said, I suppose I must own up to the fact that I find myself rather in between all-conquering. The grandeur that is my fate has hit a bit of a snag. But never you worry. For the throne I was destined, and my throne I shall have. This and that. Tag along. Do you really mean to compare the fate of an empire to whatever... On the other hand, I really could do with a dog's body. And you've already proved. Fine. I act on one for reasons I'll not disclose right now. It is imperative that I should meet with a dreamer. I've reason to believe one of them may be present on this island. Promise me we'll look for him, and I'll extend you the blessing of my company. Jolly good. So, now that that's settled, first things, even if you are as versed in the art of eloquence as I am, that our swords will be doing a lot of the talking from here on out goes without saying. As a born fighter, I prefer the perfection of the blade myself. But I'm well acquainted with the secrets of magic and, yes, even subterfuge. What say you? Wizardry is embedded in my nature as deeply as the instincts to breathe and drink and mate. The dominion over fire suits me best, truth be told, but there is no school of magic I cannot master. Very well. Onwards then to victory or death.
The Red Prince nods and gives you a smile that wavers ever so delicately.
Now, as you're away, you'll be travelling with a prince. Proper forms of address include Your Majesty, Your Royal Highness, or if you're feeling particular, as your luck would have it, I seem to be fresh out of luggage, so you won't be required to carry my belongings. Of course, there are other forms of protocol to bear in mind, but I'll see to it you'll pick up the rest as we go. So, without further ado,
So, time to find this Boris fellow. What's this? I found something. I wonder where this leads. Rubbish.
As the alcove opens up, you see the same skeleton that you met on the boat. He's leaning over a corpse, prodding and pulling at the skin of its bugger.
How on earth am I supposed to...
Skeletal fingers reach down and grip the skin of the dead man's face, pulling sharply upwards. After a few more tugs at the man's cheeks, the skeleton relents, letting the head drop to...
Damnation! That's stuck fast. I wonder, does the beard act as some form of anchor? Ah! No! Oh, it's you. I must admit I'm surprised. Perhaps you're more buoyant than I suspected. Why, its face, of course. What other use would I have for some rotting corpse? A face that seems rather stubbornly attached to his skull. I would normally employ a tool to delicately but viciously rip the face from the body. I could then craft a mask to hide my bone. But as I...
The skeleton grabs the corpse by the cheeks and pulls hard, grunting in frustration as the body's skin holds firm.
Because my own was stolen from me. And the idea of being chased across Rivellon by every idiot with a torch? Oh, get away! You are simple beasts. And you simply do not like my... Well, so, if I am to traverse this land, I will need a mask to disguise my features. Oh, please. It is far too complicated. It requires more finesse than can be achieved by a rock tied to a stick. Wait, no. But once I have extracted the required material from... And then I can return to finding my people. I cannot be the last Eternal. But the rest, at least from this realm. As for the others... Well... There is an excavation site at the Black Pit's oil fields. Perhaps there I'll find my answers. I suppose, circumstances being what they are, you seem more at ease in this world than I. A guide would certainly be useful. Excellent. While we are conversing, perhaps you notice that I am rather skilled. Of course, the arcane arts are my little speciality, but being a brilliant wizard does not mean I cannot handle blade or bow. So, which do you require for this enterprise of yours? I could do that with one hand behind my spine. Now, shall we get on? There's rather a lot to see. Splendid. Very well. Let's...
The cat's eyes are clouded and grey, but its eyes clear, and it shakes.
Yes, by all means, let us partake in the art of conversation.
Please.
Your Godwoken has asked you a question. Stay back, sorcerer, and stay silent. Our Godwoken speaks.
We know you've been helping sorcerers escape, Atusa. We have proof.
I'd sooner cut my tongue out than lie to you, Alexander. I know nothing of any escapees.
If you can tell the Godwoken no more, your tongue is of no use.
This can't be serious, Alexander.
You should know by now to obey your superior, Magister, whatever she may ask.
Bishop Alexander idly glances in your direction, curiosity on his face. Recognition seems to flicker in his eyes for a moment, but then he shakes his head and looks back. Atusa pinches the tip of her tongue with 2 fingers and brings her dagger to its root. Her eyes squeeze shut. Drops of blood form against the dagger's edge and...
Stop! My father, may his soul rest in peace, would be disappointed in you, Atusa. To think you would lie to his only son. The fate of our realm hangs in the balance. If you will not help us save it, Dallas.
Yes, Your Holiness.
I believe we're...
What a waste. Come, we'll be needed elsewhere.
The lizard magister, or what's left of her, lies in a puddle of gore.
She was a lizard, yet a magister. No matter her reasons, her penalty was...
These creatures are so prone to violence. Naturally, the weaker specimens suffer.
He.
I told him at noon exactly, didn't I?
Quite right. Do seek my counsel. I highly recommend it. Quite right. Do seek my counsel.
Come on then, Lexi. Pay up.
I find any bread. I want no trouble.
brick.
This is not your business, Long Pig.
Don't let this moss muncher talk to you like that. Especially a cheapskate like this one. Pay up, elf. No one shorts griff. Especially not one of you. Just stand aside, won't you, mate? This is no business of yours. I'll wipe that grin off your ugly mug, mate.
Oh, I don't feel so good. Follow me, before more of them trouble us. There is a safe place. Where's the oil?
A little reprieve from the din outside.
No one tells me there are so many children in this Fort Joy. Your kind I handle, but small ones. Stay in this cave a while longer. Provoke Modi, the wild...
Thank you for your help with that, thug. Rare is the human who goes against their own for an elf.
She smiles, warily.
I won't forget your aid, friend. Perhaps I can be of aid to you. It gives me great pain. I'm with my family. We are making beautiful magic. We are healing a tree cut down with great violence. The Magisters come. My family runs, but I fall. My son looks back. I shout to him to run. I am taken. In this cave, we trust the healer. She is young, but she sees. She knows more than we know. In the camp, the brute Griff rules. He who gives the bread has the power.
I hear of no escapes. The only way out is through the Magisters, through their cure. Thugs I can stand, but Wait, before you go, I am not here without your help. I do not forget this. For you, a prize. I save it for a special occasion, but I can think of...
Thank you.
Got you! I got you! You're cheating! I'll stab you right in the eye! You can't get me! Whoever kills the other is the boss! Wait, I called a timeout! Got you! I got you! I magicked you, you're dead! I know this. I'll stab you right in the eye! Shut! Got you! Whoever kills the other is the boss! I magicked you, you're dead! I know they have. I'll stab you right in the eye! I magicked you, you're dead! I'll stab you right in the eye! I magicked you, you're dead! I know they help. Whoever kills the other is the boss! You're cheating!
Go find a little one to bother. I take...
You can't get me!
The young girl's eyes are covered, but she turns towards you when you approach. She smiles as though she...
Ah, hello. Quite the blood-soaked journey has led you here. You are not who you once were, and I sense you are not yet who you will be. I see it before my eyes.
Wary all of a sudden, she takes a step back.
I cannot offer you much more than my sympathies. Our fates are intertwined, yours and mine. These clouds...
Her eyebrows shoot up.
There can be a way, Amiro knows. But he is gone. Do you see him? He knows how to leave. Some of us are meant to remain. Some of you are meant to leave. There is a way. My protector, my friend, An elf like me, with a spirit bright as new leaves. He is caught by those who hurt him. I wish so much for his return. And he tells you what you seek. A way out. You bring me great peace. Thank you, my... I see something that helps. I see a lizard. He is a lizard of many dreams, of far feeling. You do not free Amiro without him. Yes, please ask. Oh, I do not cover my eyes. I cover the place they used to be. They are gone. He is a very blind man. He sees things but not truth. You understand when you meet him, after you escape. It is safer here. We make no trouble for Griff. He makes no trouble for us. My home is far. Your language gives me some trouble. We elves... Time for us is now. I knew we must be here. I am not sure how much to explain. You are here. I know they help. I feel him, but I do not see him.
You are in the wrong place, Pinky. Military, are you? Be at ease here, and well met. Let me know if you need any up.
The soldier stands to attention.
fight the Reaper. What are you thinking, messing with Griff's brutes anyhow?
Bleeding snake.
Now, let's not get nasty. Greet's better off, I'm sure.
Ha! I found you, didn't I? Red, they said. Red, then dead. Them that pay the bills, of course. Our time's up, Your Highness. It's stabbing time.
Come on then, Lucy. Pay up.